EA is a name that strikes fear into the wallet of gamers
John, is there
everywhere.
anything
I
about this
still
EA thing?
remember all
I want to
those
see it. I want to
years
see it.
ago when they were voted I think it was the most hated company in America, or it might have just been point blank worst company in America. Which, there are no saints over there at the EA office, but I definitely think there are worse
Yeah,
companies. But just
I
goes to
know
show
about
you
it, man.
the pure disdain people have for EA and their practices. They have not been well liked for a very long time. But you know who does like them? The Saudi Arabian government. They like them so much that they are buying EA for $55 billion. Now, it's not just the
That is
Saudi
good,
Arabia
yeah.
Public Investment Fund that's buying them all on their own outright. They've actually got a whole Royal Rumble going halvesies with them, so they've got fucking superstars like Silver Lake and Jared Kushner's affinity partners doing this deal with them. So they've got like the superstars of slime here that are forking up 55 billion clams to own EA. EA was a publicly traded company, but obviously with this will no longer be. They're taking it private. Now there is one other name here that's very important to this deal.
Yo, chat, I'm gonna pre-fire chat that this usually I'm gonna assume it's a net positive. I'm gonna say it's net positive. It is what it is. What it is. It is what it is. It do not probably less subject to fucking you need to do this, you need to do that. Fucking bullshit things that don't need to be part of like it is what it
Morgan.
is.
Because you see, Darman fam,
Could be
$20 billion
worse
of
if
debt is
direction
being
worse,
committed
but
by JP
55
Morgan for this
bills
deal,
for a pile of
18 billion of
shitload.
which is expected to be funded at close. Now, what does this mean for you, someone who might just be excited for Battlefield coming out? Well, 20 billion is a big number. If you converted that to pounds, it's nearly as heavy as your mother, bitch. Point is, $20 billion is what EA is now responsible to pay back. It's debt. And what are the ways that you can look to try and squeeze some more juice from the lemons here? More microtransactions, something EA is very famous for. Another strategy EA might employ is layoffs. Again, something they're not a stranger to. And I predict, as well as I've seen other people also make this prediction, I'm not fucking Baba Vanga over here with some kind of galaxy brain speculative theory. I would imagine they're going to start closing studios like BioWare. I think BioWare is going to be their big one. Their games have not been performing well financially for EA for a while. Anthem, into Dragon Age, the Veilguard, they're not crushing it in their sales numbers, and they're very expensive component of EA. Maybe not in like the grand scheme of like billions of dollars, but that still is a sizable chunk of change, and I think they're going to be checking under every single cushion on the sofa, looking for any way of finding more money to pay back this debt. I would imagine there's going to be even more excessive microtransactions, just desperately trying to claw into your wallet to get you to spend money in their games, and I think there's going to be layoffs and studio closures. Again, EA is very famous for gutting studios.
Okay.
So I think that
I got this guy talking about at 1.5x speed. Okay, I got my brain going 3x speed for no reason 'cause I'm trying to read this fucking shit. And this chat going to fucking 350,000x fucking computing with these please spam emotes. I can't do this. I can't. Nobody can fucking this is not possible. It's not possible.
now with this 20 billion debt on the plate, they're going to be even more aggressive. That's what I expect, and I've seen a lot of other people also have that same idea in their head. It just feels like that's probably the direction EA will go. And I also saw it being reported by a lot of outlets that apparently the new EA owners are hopeful that AI will be their saving grace here for cutting costs.
Chat, I would argue the opposite, no? Chat, I feel like if people going this voluntarily with that much money, and we know they have deep pockets, whatever, right? It'd be the opposite. It'd be that they would be less aggressive about the debt that they're in, making a voluntary investment into this, especially since they have a lot of deeper pockets compared to the company that will have to be forced to make more aggressive moves, go into more debt overall, no? Like,
And boosting
isn't that the
profits.
opposite?
Which, again, AI, the entire purpose right now is just for the sake of saving money on the bottom line by replacing workers. So you don't have to pay salary to people. You can just have AI spit shit out. According to a report that is paywalled, so again, I'm getting this secondhand from all the other reports reporting on that one, but apparently it was stated that AI would be used to boost EA's profits in the coming years and to manage a large debt load on a company that historically carried limited net debt. Now, I've yapped about this strategy endlessly, and it's clearly not exclusive to EA. Every company on the planet right now is scrambling to try and get the fucking AI and a titty twister so they can utilize it to save money.
Can EA
and there's going to be plenty of other gaming companies that will
worse?
follow suit.
We're about to find out.
Even if EA wasn't being purchased for $55 billion with $20 billion in debt, they would still 100% be trying to use AI to save money. I'm sure it's already happening across the entire industry right now. In fact, I've got a little
Yo. Saudi Arabia. Hold on now. Lock in, right? And give us Battlefront 3, and nobody will blink an eye. Nobody will give a fuck about any of this. People will be EA glazers. It'll be Battlefront 3.
foil that conspiracy theory that Ubisoft
the
CEO
world
is
comes
actually just
together
AI.
and
I
turns
don't
a
think
blind
there's a single
eye.
human being left in that food chain there at the upper echelon because there is no way a sentient, living, breathing organism could have come up with ideas as stupid as Ubisoft has. But in this case, again, it's not exclusive to EA. They're just being a little more open about it, I guess, about how they're going to utilize AI to cut these costs. Now let's talk about the new owners of EA. One of them being the Saudi Arabian government. Now, if you have been paying attention to the state of tech or even the state of sports or esports, You probably know the Saudi Arabian government's been getting its fingers in a lot of different pies here. They've been exploring tons and tons of different companies and brands to own. And it's been going on for a few years now, a handful of years now, and I don't think it's going to slow down or stop anytime soon. In fact, quite
True,
the opposite.
Pog, I agree with that.
I'm confident Saudi Arabian government will continue to snatch up tons of major brands and companies across the globe. And if you don't mind, I'd like to go on a bit of a side tangent here. I'd like to blabber a bit. Esports. I mean, if you know, I've been in the esports space for 5 years now. Started with Moist Esports, now Shopify Rebellion. So,
Shout
as an
out
owner of an
my
esports team, I
Saudi
can tell you
brother
firsthand,
Turkey.
Saudi Arabian government wants to basically own the entire fucking industry there. And they're already getting very close with things like the Esports World Cup. Most recently, EVO, where they're the
Dude.
majority owner of.
The if you actually watch the event, and I'm not a Glazer because I was sponsored by it, the event is actually good. People generally enjoy it. They have a wide variety of games that had lack funding, and they're putting games that people actually enjoy watching on the main stage with good
60
production.
months of
People
absolute-
actually want to watch, and it's a good event. It is what it is. Yeah, the first event was a little lackluster in terms of spectating or whatever the fuck, right? It helps a fuck ton. Like, this shit actually helps. As long as it's sustained and they keep into the venture, how is it not as good as what we have right now? Like,
Evo. They have infinite money. So in a scene like esports, which money is a myth, there is, as I've said numerous times, there's no money to be made in esports. It is just an absolute endless pit of agony when it comes to financials. Me, it's fine bleeding money there because I'm doing it under the idea that I'm going to lose this money, but I'm investing in it because what I get out of it is fun. I love the spirit of competition. I love esports. It's why I had Moist Esports, and it's why I now have Shopify Rebellion, so I could expand the esports space and have more things to watch and support more players. I love it. But any business that wants to get into esports hates it because you just lose money. And the Saudi Arabian government obviously noticed that. So what they did is they put the chemical X into the sector, money. They've given tons and tons of teams, tons and tons of money to support things like the EWC and to own things in the esports space because, well, without them, they're not making money, so they feel they absolutely have to play ball. I, of course, have seen this firsthand, but have declined all of that mumbo
Hi,
jumbo.
Mr.
I haven't been shy
51
about it. I've
years.
told
Can
you
I
straight
get
up
a
numerous
jungle
times, I don't
welcome?
watch the EWC. I don't support it at all. I don't watch it in private, nothing. I think that
why?
shit sucks. I'm sure I don't need to tell you, but the Saudi Arabian government
yeah, but why though? Why? I mean, chat. I think it'd be interesting to hear. Just give us a reason why.
It's got a whole host of issues, human rights violations out the wazoo. I'm sure I don't need to go into a ton of detail into the nitty-gritty. And honestly, just the whole idea of a government deciding that it wants to get its grubby paws around an entire industry and own the entire sector outright, that's fucking terrible no matter what. So yeah, I don't like this at all. I hate what's happening in the esports space where every organization
Guys, I mean, I don't want to be weird, but dude, I think they have one major team and one major event. Dude, every other game has their own majors. There's still a extreme wide-ranging esports events. Is like a massive array of esports events. Bro, they're making their own event, and you think that they're trying to monopolize it and to control the whole scene? Dude, it's one event.
every game, every brand basically has to suckle the teat of Saudi Arabia in some way, shape, or form. I don't like the direction. Now, of course, I understand why it's got to that point because there's just no money there, but it doesn't change the fact that I don't like it. Now, we have had players on our teams participate in like the EWC
own
because,
ESL,
as I've always
but
said, we don't take player winnings, so them winning doesn't bring money back to us or anything, and I'm not going to get in the way of any of
Yeah,
our players
they're
going and
calling
making
it-
their own decisions on how they want to like make a
15
bad or
diamond, like-
something. That is entirely up to them, all power to them, and there's no
Ross
ill will
Q.
there at
Powell.
all. But
XQC
they've not
Omega.
represented Moist Esports at the EWC or anything like that. I know there's
No. Them sponsoring events is one thing. And what I mean is owning outright and controlling. That's a different story. Yo, funding comes from a lot of places. You can make the same argument that gambling controls CS. If you were to really put it in, if you were to really put it into words, you want to use the same type of narrative. Gambling owns CS. That's it. That outright.
is a long-winded tangent, but the point is,
Oh,
the
no,
Saudi
okay,
Arabian
then I agree
government
then.
is doing this not only in just like EA or esports, but all across the whole spectrum of technology and entertainment. In fact, just look up things that the Saudi Arabian government, like the PIF, has like percentages of. It's a lot. It's a ton of things, and many other video game companies, by the way. This is just their biggest buyout. This is huge. $55 billion for EA is big. And I do think there will be some noticeable changes to a lot of EA games and property. I think we're going to be in an era of even greedier EA garbage, if such a thing is even fathomable. So yeah, overall, I don't think this is going to be like an improvement to EA games or anything like that. I don't think consumers are going to walk away from this kind of deal with a big W for the quality of games we're going to start receiving here. I guess I'm willing to be proven wrong, but I highly fucking doubt that. I think it's going to be net negative changes.
If things get net negative, chat, I would assume it'd be way into the future. Here's a good example of what I think. It's a different type of acquisition, but Amazon with Twitch. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it a buck. Early on, in general, people just got fucking Twitch Prime out of that shit, and that helped all the streamers. Everybody, literally, when that shit kicked in, it literally made every streamer, and then in fact, gave people more and better content to watch overall. It's just it's yeah. Now we got a bunch of ads and shit sucks now, but. Even then, though, like it propelled it forward at least initially. So I think the thing being negative ahead of time about this, I think is foolish.